Alright, so I asked you guys, what do you like about Black Ops Cold War? And you guys left me over 300 comments. Narrowing that down to around 10 or 11 comments was really hard to do. Most comments were just unhelpful. They said, I like it more than Modern Warfare. Or they'd say, I like zombies. Or it looks nice. And I tried to find any comments that I could actually have an opinion about. So here are the 10 to 11, depending on how many I include here, that actually stood out to me. Dice Renoke, if I'm saying your name right, says, I like the slower time to kill. Having time to react after you get shot the first time is nice. Zombies in campaign are good, some okay maps. TDM isn't completely awful now. I very much so agree with the TDM statement. Honestly, TDM is so much better in Black Ops Cold War because Black Ops Cold War, to some degrees, has a lot better flow than Modern Warfare does in non-objective game modes. When it comes to the slower time to kill, having time to react after getting shot, I would say yes and no. At a distance, I definitely feel that when someone's using something underpowered, but oftentimes if I get shot once by a good player, they're using something that can kill me very, very quickly. So much of my time in Cold War is getting the time to kill completely subverted, so as much as I'd love to agree with you on this, I'm going to, because I do agree with you. At a distance, when someone's using something like an XM4 or a QBZ, yeah, you can start surviving some hits and get away, so they're not just guaranteed the gunfight because they shot at you. But when someone uses a tactical rifle or an LMG or a sniper rifle or a shotgun or dual-wield Diamatis or even 1911s, I don't really feel like I'm able to survive because of the longer time to kill, and up close or just at mid-range with some of those weapons, I'm deleted just as if I'm playing Modern Warfare. The next comment is from B. Norman. What I like about Cold War? Well, the campaign was pretty good, nice continuation of the first Black Ops, fixed minimap and Dead Silence perk, aka Ninja, some good new maps like Twin Pines for example, and the game looks nice. While I do appreciate a Ninja perk and a normal minimap, I do actually have a video coming out that's kind of controversial about how I might have actually been wrong about MW's minimap and Dead Silence, and after playing Cold War I actually almost prefer Modern Warfare's minimap and Dead Silence system, but I'm still working on that. It's not really a full opinion. I'm going to take a while to really think about it, play the game some more, and ask myself that question actively while playing. But I hear you. You know, the game doesn't look terrible. I think that's one thing we need to be really clear about. Yes, it doesn't look as good as Modern Warfare, and the PC optimization is not as good as Modern Warfare, but the idea that it looks like dog shit is only half true. In fact, I think the game does look nice. Here's the first controversial take that I saw in the comments section. VVVTTT says, I like how many different types of viable weapons there are. In Cold War, there are some great bursts, LMGs, pistols, even the DMR is cool. In Modern Warfare, it felt like all of the pistols were similar and mediocre. The assault rifles outgunned LMGs. The one burst AR wasn't worth using, and the only good semi-auto was the FAL after it got buffed. I have never heard such a wrong take on Modern Warfare's weapons, so I do have to question this a lot. Pistols were similar and mediocre? I don't think you played with the Deagle, the Magnum, the Renetti, or the M19. I will say the 1911 and X16 feel a little bit out of place. The 1911 doesn't really feel competitive, although it is very good at getting that two-shot headshot. It's not good at much else. It bucks up a lot. I love the handgun, but it's not necessarily good. And the X16 has just a lower rate of fire and slightly better damage than the M19, but the M19 can fire a shit ton faster with a large mag. So taking those two pistols out of the mix, keep in mind that Cold War only has 3 pistols. But you can run the Magnum in Modern Warfare with a sniper scope and a long barrel, or a short barrel dual wield with snake shot. You can run the Deagle with also a red dot sight or optic, long barrel or a short barrel. You can suppress the damn thing with an oil can. You can use the Renetti and you have a burst handgun, or it can turn into a semi-automatic, very good long range handgun with a stock foregrip and scope. And the M19 allows you to dual wield 32 round handguns at a really good rate of fire, so I fully disagree with this. The pistols were not similar and mediocre. In fact, they were the most distinct fun pistols I've ever used in a Call of Duty game, maybe except for the Mozu in Black Ops 4, that comes to mind. You also say the assault rifles outgunned LMGs, and while I would kind of agree with you on that in terms of competitive nature, the PKM, the Bruin, they are amazing long-range shredders. The MG34 has put me on a lot of death streaks, and yeah, there's a whole thing called mounting, and Modern Warfare's maps are not always tiny. You might think that if you played a lot of Shipment and Shoot House, But when you play on a map like Grozny Raid and you're playing CTF and somebody's locking down a long line of sight with an M91, you suddenly gain a lot of respect for that belt-fed beast. Then you said the one burst AR wasn't worth using when you can turn any auto into a really shitty burst rifle, so that's worth noting in terms of Modern Warfare's weapon customization. But the actual burst weapon that was good, other than the Renetti, was the FAMAS, and it's actually very good. I made a whole video about how, with the exact right attachments, it's amazing. And I wish it would have gotten a buff, because I feel like it was a little too fussy. It needed just the right barrel and muzzle and foregrip attachment, but when you had that down, that thing is a one bursting machine. Anybody that was bad with the FAMAS isn't very good at Modern Warfare. And the only good semi-auto was the FAL after it got buffed, and the SKS would love to know your location. And very early in MW's life cycle, the FAL got a fire rate buff. If that's what you're referring to, that's what made the gun good. The later buff was absolutely game-breaking and entirely unnecessary. I made a video called "The FAL is Your Friend" right after that fire rate change when they first added Kruvik Farmland. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce that. Either way, the Farmland Ground War map. I made a video about just how good and reliable the weapon is, and a lot of people seem to agree with me, and even people enjoy the FAL in burst for some goddamn reason, so there's another good burst rifle for your list. I know that just sounds like someone's opinion, and that I shouldn't be too mad about it, but I just believe that was an objectively wrong set of statements that had to be corrected. This next comment is from Hyperzone Ninja, and he says, "I like everything but multiplayer." Wait, I like hitting players with a hammer. We won't take too long on that comment, let's move on. Zach Ratcliffe says, "I really like the movement in Cold War. Wasn't a tactical sprint fan. Also the War Machine and Prop Hunt. Pretty much sums it up." And yeah, Prop Hunt's fine. I really wish Modern Warfare would have had Prop Hunt. The War Machine is basically the specialist return of War Machine as far as I'm concerned, seeing how the streaks don't reset when you die, but it's whatever. It is a fun thing to use, I'll give you that. And wasn't a tactical sprint fan. I don't know about this one, guys. A lot of people don't like tactical sprint in Modern Warfare, and while I know it looks like I'm just guzzling Modern Warfare's cum right now, look, I'm sorry. Tactical sprint's kind of dope, so I don't know what you guys are on about with this. This next comment's a little long. It says, "I like the pacing in Cold War's multiplayer. Even though I don't like how easy zombies is, I can appreciate it for what it is." I agree with both of what you're saying there, Afro Ninja. If I had to describe Black Ops Cold War in one word though, it would be empty. Once we have gotten all the challenges unlocked, every weapon camo, operator, and to get a certain round of zombies or complete the Easter egg, the game starts to get stale. And the problem with the game starts to focus in. In a metaphorical way of saying it, the game has no heart or soul. Behind it, it's empty. Every game has its problem that can be ignored, but this game has too many glitches, crashes, scan and repairs, bugs that need to be fixed, not to mention the community trying their hardest to break the game, making it less fun with them optimizing the game. I don't exactly get what you mean there, but I definitely know what you mean by the community trying their hardest to break the game. I feel like every player is in some way trying to subvert the time to kill in Cold War, and that does make the game less fun. You do say, "Sorry for the rant, it was supposed to be what I liked about the game and it turned into something else." You are absolutely right though, Afro Ninja. The lack of soul and heart you're feeling is what I referred to as flavor. When you really strip down Cold War and you've already, gotten your camos and completed the Easter eggs and done the stuff, then the reason you feel like it has no heart and soul is that there's no bits of flavor. You're not opening and closing doors, you're not interacting with environments, the maps do not have anything dynamic or unique about them except for maybe a diving board on Miami. You're not able to fire select your weapon, you're not able to mount your weapon, you're not able to turn the M4 into an SMG, you're not able to load explosive rounds into your Barrett. And most of what it's doing is copying Modern Warfare. I mean, Gunfight was in Modern Warfare, it was new there, it's not new now. Ground War was in Modern Warfare. Now we have, I will say, Fireteam is a little bit more interesting than Ground War, but to a lot of people, it's just sort of a baby's battle royale. And Zombies is easy. It's way more of like a survival mode from Modern Warfare 3 and a lot less like a zombies mode from Black Ops 2. It has that attitude removed, it has the creepiness removed, and it's just a lot more of a optimize your run type of experience. And so, yeah, no, you are absolutely correct, and you're just feeling that lack of flavor, that bit of attitude that games have had in the past, and even Modern Warfare had recently. So yeah, I hear you. This next comment gets all the love from me. I only like Cold War because of you, Jake, and Jason. I don't watch anyone else when it comes to covering Cold War. Thank you so much, Lenny. I appreciate the hell out of you. Oh, did you not realize this video was gonna be me getting my ego stroked and then sucking off MW, oh yeah, that's the whole video. I included this next comment because it's the way a lot of the comments went that were in favor of Cold War. I'm not a Modern Warfare 2019 fan. I hate the game with a passion. Fair enough, you can hate anything you want. But you say, I think Black Ops Cold War is a great game and it feels how COD should feel. I don't know about that. I feel like if Call of Duty starts feeling this contrived, this repetitive, this low on content, if it feels this boring, this flavorless, this soulless, then I don't want to be a COD player anymore. Modern Warfare was a return to Black Ops 1 MW2 style of Call of Duty with interactable map environments, larger, more complex maps, interesting weapon customization that actually breaks the mold for the series. And if Cold War is what Black Ops or Call of Duty in general should feel like, then consider me not a fan. 20Justin1 says, I don't know what you're talking about, Boom. When you say that Cold War has the most restrictive gun balance, are we just gonna forget the past 11 years of Call of Duty? Black Ops 1, the best assault rifle was easily the FAMAS and the best SMG was the AK-74U. MW3, ACR, and MP7 dominated their categories. Infinite Warfare, the NV4 was easily the easiest, most overused gun in that game to use. And in World War II, fire shotguns, PPSH, STG-44, Black Ops 4, most guns were balanced in this game, but there wasn't a reason to run snipers. There wasn't any aim assist on them, and barely any of the maps made them useful. I like getting asked, are you gonna ignore the last 11 years of Call of Duty, but then you're just gonna say, Black Ops 4, most guns were balanced. Most? Technically, every Call of Duty you listed there, most guns were balanced, but because you only listed 2 to 3 weapons at most when it comes to things that are blatantly overpowered. In every Call of Duty, most guns are probably fine and they're usable. And the problem is that most normies, when they go and grab a gun in Call of Duty and they flank unsuspecting enemies and get a quad kill, and then they gain some confidence with that weapon, they'll spend the rest of its life cycle thinking it's a good weapon no matter what the stats say. So opinions about what guns were good and bad don't really matter to me. I mean, you could love the ACR in Modern Warfare 3, but you're fucked stupid if you don't think the M4 and the Scar L weren't a competitive choice as well. My favorite gun in MW3 was the G36C. In Black Ops 1, my favorite gun is the AK-47. In Infinite Warfare, my favorite gun was the NV4, admittedly. But Lord knows that ARX with the built-in grenade launcher was super fun. And in World War II, my favorite gun was the BAR before they fuck nerfed it into the ground. In Black Ops 4, did you just not notice the Auger DMR or the Titan LMG? Did you just not notice the Rampart with high caliber 1 and 2? Were you just not there for those? You also say Cold War has really good gun balance. What people mean by that, Boom, is that they can use any gun in the game and dominate a team. There isn't a single bad gun in the game. If you don't understand what I mean, take the MPL or Capris from Black Ops 1. There's no way in hell you're gonna dominate with those guns. And this is the funniest part of this comment. I absolutely adored the MPL in Black Ops 1, and my buddy back in the day was amazing with the Capris. This is what I'm saying. Talking about guns and Call of Duty, unless you have a stat sheet in front of you, doesn't really matter because Call of Duty's gunplay is so easy and simplistic. Now, in Black Ops Cold War, you can say that every gun is good, there's no bad guns, but I would beg to differ. The QBZ in Black Ops Cold War isn't a bad gun, it's just really bad if you're going up against a Gallo in close range. And you might think, well, that's what the shotgun should do. But the problem is that my opponent has that shotgun in his pocket, and the maps are full of close range buildings, and so I just better not enter them. Okay, but what about where the QBZ is actually good? Let's be fair to the QBZ. Well, let's say I try to use the QBZ at mid-range, but somebody in mid-range has an M16 or an XM4. I'm toast in that scenario. Obviously, if they're less accurate and I'm more accurate, I'm going to win, but that doesn't say anything about the guns. My best games in Modern Warfare with bad guns are against players that aren't very good or just are choosing to not use meta weapons. This conversation is so relative and so messy, it's really hard to condense into a commentary, and I'm not going to try to do it all here, but I will be talking about this in its own video later. There's an ice cream truck outside my house that's parked because there's a really indecisive kid trying to pick a fucking flavor. I am really hoping that it doesn't show up on my mic right now as I'm talking. Alright, 2 more comments left, and this one is a nice fat list. Okay, FOV slider for console, in-depth attachments. I'm guessing he means the stat lists. ACC has league play. I know it's not great, but I can play it and have fun. Fair enough, I guess. Doesn't promote camping, except for every head glitch that's on the map, because you say, unlike in Modern Warfare, you don't lose score, so there's no need to camp to keep streaks, which is actually a huge problem with the game, because you don't actually have streaks, you don't actually have a reward for doing well. You have a government-mandated stimulus streak that's in your pocket because you happen to be playing the game like everyone else. That's why you don't see stuff like gunships flying around the map, but oh boy howdy do you get a napalm strike and cruise missile and artillery dropped on you at that same 7-minute mark in every game, because by that point any average player has gotten them because they're basically promised them. Great zombies, good campaign, decent balance, a lot of good guns with less bad guns, we already talked about that. Has an alright multiplayer. What are you talking about? That's a really weird thing to put in your list. You're talking about doesn't promote camping, you have in-depth attachments, decent balance, alright multiplayer. You're very specific and then you're super vague. Has pretty solid maps. I don't know what that means. I guess it does. They work. Yeah, okay. Campaign has choices. I do like that. Zombies has replay value. I do like the progression system. It isn't pay to win. Cough, cough, Black Ops 3 gobblegum. And then I thought I knew what you meant by ACC, but then I looked up Black Ops Cold War ACC ELO system. I don't know what you mean by this. I don't know if that stands for something. I couldn't find anybody saying the letters ACC on Twitter. So anyway, make an ACC ELO system for League play. Okay, make choices that matter more in campaign. They're not going to update the campaign, but okay. And yeah, they have lots of modes from launch. Every Call of Duty has lots of game modes, but okay. This next comment is from Reasonable Entertainment. I'm pretty sure that's how you say that. Some things it does better than Modern Warfare. Gunfighter lets you put all the attachments on. Yes, sir, I love that. Optics not having negative stats. I absolutely agree. I said that about Modern Warfare. Shotguns as secondaries, go fuck yourself. Why would you want shotguns as secondaries unless you are incapable of landing consecutive full auto shots in close range or switching to a handgun that requires you to land multiple consecutive shots? Shotguns as secondaries is a bad design choice. It has been since its inception. The only place it worked was in Black Ops 4, just barely, because at least you had to dedicate your class to making that shotgun powerful. Shotguns as secondaries in a game with Gunsmith doesn't work. Higher time to kill, that's I guess a personal preference thing. Cool maps, Apocalypse is great. Apocalypse is fine. We've seen better Call of Duty maps. We've seen more interesting and in-depth Call of Duty maps. Apocalypse is a fine 3-lane map. Sound mic is fun. I'm guessing you mean field mic, and I run Spycraft almost permanently because of it, but okay. More balanced silencer downsides so everyone doesn't run them, and that is where I'm gonna end this video, because I 100% agree with that. Making sure not everybody wants to run a suppressor and then keeping them on the minimap is generally my preferred style for Call of Duty. Like I said though, I'm sort of teetering on maybe preferring Modern Warfare's minimap and suppressor style. Maybe not their suppressors, but definitely their minimap style. I don't know. Again, that's a whole thing, that's a work in progress, but I'm gonna end this video by agreeing with this person. This video is the longest one I've uploaded in a while. Again, just getting through comments like this when I actually have an actual set of opinions about them, it takes a while. So out of 300, here's like 11. There you go. Thank you guys so much for coming out and watching. If you made it to this point, call me a Modern Warfare cuck, and I'll see you when I see you guys. Goodbye.